Welcome back to Gaming Top Down. Today I'm continuing my series going over every board game in my collection letter by letter and breaking them into different categories. This is going to be a fairly short video going over the letter K, so let's hop right in. Okay, first up in my thinking about purging category, I have a few games here. First one is called Combo Clash, and I like this game because of the fun artwork. It plays quickly, and it has a small box, but I'm not sure how much staying power it has. In this game, you are trying to get to some points threshold before the other players, and on your turn, you'll be playing these animal tiles out and then scoring up to one combo of creatures. So you might use a kangaroo to kick some tile and move it a spot, or flip one over, or a chameleon to copy another animal's points. And then if there is a collection of a certain animal, like the three crocodiles here, then you could score that grouping on your turn. And then, like I said, you're just trying to get the biggest groupings on your turn to score them and break up your opponent's scoring ability so that you can get to the score threshold quickest. It's pretty fun, pretty simple game that you can play in 20 to 30 minutes. I do think it's fairly solid, fairly okay game. Again, good probably for introducing children to, well, not even children, kids that are getting into board games, to tile placement and kind of thinking about combos. So that is Combo Clash. Next up is a word game called Nitwit. And this is a kind of a word association game, kind of similar to something like Scattergories. You're trying to come up with words that match as many of these categories as possible. Kind of imagine these pieces of string or yarn that come off of these clothespins as like parts of a Venn diagram, and you want your words, your answers, to match as many of them as possible, to kind of be in the center of as many loops as possible, and you get points for doing that. So it's not just about speed, which I appreciate, because I'm not great at games like Scattergories that are strictly based on kind of the speed, general and uniqueness a little bit, but it's more about how thorough can my answer be to match as many categories as possible. It's pretty fun. I don't know that it's amazing, but it's an okay time. What's it say? It plays in 15 minutes, and for a 15-minute game to play 2 to 8 players, it's a pretty good one. So we'll see if it stays. That is Nitwit. All right, and last up is kind of a classic. I don't know if I really will purge it, but this is King Domino, a game that we've loved for a long time. Plays in 15 to 20 minutes. Just an awesome kind of riff on dominoes with just a little bit more going on, where you're trying to position yourself well in the draft so that you get the tile that you want next round. But you want to take the better tiles to score more points, but they'll put you in, kind of last or later in the turn order position to choose tiles. So it's a balance and push and pull of those priorities, and then you're building your own little kingdom. Has some fun variants in the game. The 2-player variant, where you can build a giant kingdom of 7x7 grid instead of 5x5. Is very fun. So there's a lot of fun game in this box. King Domino is really great. I have another version of King Domino that has a bit more going on that I'm excited to try, and so we'll see if it's time to part ways with this classic yet or not. All right, and then for favorite games that start with the letter K, I have 2 of them. First up is a game that doesn't get talked about a lot, by Prospero Hall, who unfortunately I don't think exists anymore, but a very cool development team. This is Kiro, and it's a game about kind of leading a clan of people after some apocalyptic event out in the wastelands. Think Mad Max maybe here. This is a real-time game, which I know can be a bit of a a turnoff for people, but you also have some drafting and the central board where you're competing with the other player for some resources and point scoring abilities. But on your turn, you have these cool big sand timers that are inside these tanker trucks. You'll flip the tanker up kind of to symbolize your gas usage for your turn, and then you roll dice as quickly as you can, trying to get these sets here so that you can take the cards or even win these different locations and recruit new people to your clan. I think it's a really fun game. It plays in half an hour, 2 players only, but it's a really good time if you don't mind just hucking a bunch of dice for half an hour and sometimes having some great rolls and sometimes not, but just kind of doing the best that you can with the gas that you have. I think Hero is a excellent game that starts with the letter K. And last up for this video is a big box that might not fit very well on the screen, but this is Clask. And Clask, I think, it's more of like a dexterity type of game or bar game, similar to something like darts, or, this is basically a riff on air hockey. But Clask is amazing. It's great. Anyone can play, no matter if they're 4 years old or 94. I really think it's great. Basically, very much like air hockey, you're trying to get this yellow ball in your opponent's hole to win the point. First player to 6 points wins, but there are just a few wrinkles that make it more interesting than that. There are these 3 pieces in the center called biscuits, and all the pieces in this game, basically, except for the ball, are magnetized. And so you control your pawn from underneath the board with a strong magnet. If your pawn at any point gets 2 of these biscuits stuck to it, you lose the point, or your opponent wins the point. So you need to avoid these. And that's probably the most fun part of this game, is trying to knock the biscuits towards your opponent's pawn. So you have to keep track of those while you're trying to score the yellow ball. And if you ever clask, is what they call it, or put your own pawn inside your own goal, you also lose the point and your opponent wins it. So just with those couple wrinkles, it's an excellent version of something like air hockey, way better than air hockey in my opinion. So that is Clask, here rounding out my favorite games that start with the letter K. Well, have you played any of these games? What is your favorite game that starts with the letter K? Make sure to let me know in the comments below, and subscribe to my channel so that you can see the rest of these videos when they come out, and make sure to join our July giveaway at the link in the description. Thanks so much, and I'll see you on the next video. Until then, bye.